Okay.
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of the Kasanova Podcast. This is actually episode 37. I'm your host, Mikhail Kasanova, and I've got the one and only Griffin Burns, the voice actor for Yuma of Shining Resonance Refrain. Definitely go out and buy this game. But go ahead, Griffin, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Sure, for sure. Hey, guys. Thanks, Mikhail, for having me on. It's a real honor, especially to be your first voice actor on the podcast. I'm Griffin Burns. I'm from Pennsylvania. I moved to LA 8 years ago, started VO 8 years ago, and my journey has evolved into doing it full time and finally landing a lead role in a video game, Shining Resonance Refrain, which I'm really proud of. So yeah, that's just a quick summary of myself.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. You really, I'm so serious, man. You brought Yuma to life.
Like, thank you.
I played the Japanese version and it was awesome, but the way you portrayed the character was just phenomenal, man. Kudos to you.
I appreciate it. I came off of, I don't know if you saw the anime Anohana, but
I think my wife probably has, because she's really big on anime.
Okay. So I had it was a big year for me last year. I had done kind of my very first lead role in an anime for Anohana, and then I feel like that really prepared me well to take on Yuma for Shining Resonance. So it worked out really well, and it definitely, I worked on my acting chops. I mean, I've been doing voice acting for 8 years, but there's something a little bit different when you're, Anohana was 12 episodes, probably 40 plus hours of recording, within the stretch of a month, and then, or a month and a half. And then Shining Resonance was 8 4-hour sessions, which voiceover is very concentrated work. So, it's not an 8-hour day, but when you're in the booth, you're recording, line after line with, some 5 or 10 minute breaks here and there, but it's very concentrated and, it's very tiring. So I think, just to reiterate, I think that Anohana really, prepared me well for this role.
So like when you're saying like, when you have to record in the booth, so when you're bringing the character to life, like the different emotions, does that get tiring when you have to, like, say you have like a scene where you're angry, you have to portray anger, or like, does that drain you, as an actor?
It can, and like I said, in a 4-hour session, if you're doing a lot of emotive lines when you're sad or upset or angry, or you can feel totally wiped out by that last hour. And I always think that after 3 hours, you're kind of pushing it, digging deep to keep everything together. If you have any jobs after a 4-hour session, good luck.
All right. So I want to ask you like a brief background on yourself.
Sure.
Like, what are some other acting roles that you've been in and voice acting that you've done?
Oh man, so I've done literally hundreds and hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 voiceovers to date. I do a lot of commercials. Voiceover has all sorts of facets. So you've got e-learning, you've got audiobooks, video games, anime, commercials, promos. So I've pretty much done something in every genre. But as far as like, if you want to talk anime or video games, Octopath Traveler just came out. I had just a minor role in that. I had a minor role up there. He's got it. Very cool. I had a minor role in Final Fantasy 15. I played young Prompto in one of the DLCs.
That was you.
Yeah, I was in that.
Wow. You're good with that too.
I did Devilman Crybaby on Netflix, which is a big one. Played Akira in that.
Oh, wow.
Ryodari in Kakegurui, also on Netflix. The list goes on, and I could continue, but there's a lot of stuff out there. At this point. Yeah.
Oh man. man, that's wow. How does it feel like when your resume is so it's stacked?
It's building. You know, I think like any creative would probably say the same. Or you know, I'm very thankful for what I've done and my successes, but I keep wanting to push the envelope and do more. I really love what I do. But yeah, I would, if I could work every minute of the day, I probably would, which isn't good for me, but it would probably be welcomed for a while. So
awesome, man. Awesome. Well, again, man, it is such an honor to have you on the show. You know, as I said, you're the first voice actor I've had on the podcast, and it's truly amazing, man. And I really do love that game. I have a copy of the Dragoneer edition that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this, along with I have a spare copy of the Octopath Wayfarer. So I'm going to be giving away to one listener and one subscriber. So
that's awesome.
It's really awesome having you on here. And I wanted to ask you also, you know, what inspired you to get into acting and voice acting?
Well, so as I was telling you before we started the interview, I'm a musician. I graduated from college and came out to LA with the hope of, you know, either selling my songs or performing my music. And sort of, to cut a long story short, I realized music is not that voiceover isn't difficult, but music almost really doesn't have a clear path. So
that's true.
I got really frustrated with that. But simultaneously, I had always in the back of my mind thought, hey, you know, I'd love to try acting. And since I was in LA where that's a possibility, you know, can't really do much acting in Pennsylvania. So once I was out here, I was like, well, hey, I should try some things. So there's a site called LA Casting that lists casting notices. And, you know, I think it was 2 months after I moved here, I saw a voiceover audition. And it was to play like a World War II soldier, young guy for Balboa Park in San Diego for a little phone adventure game. Basically, you know, you call in with your cell phone at different locations in the park, and these voices talk to you. So anyways, never done VO, but I thought, hey, I've got my home recording equipment from the music that I've done. Why don't I record the audition, see what happens? Well, sent the audition out. 3 weeks later, I got an email. They're like, hey, man, loved your read. We'd like to book you on this project. And I was like, whoa. It paid pretty well. It didn't take too long, and it was fun. And I'm like, a light bulb went off. I'm like, okay, this is the kind of work that I want to do forever. So after that, I was like, I got to take this really seriously, because I felt like I got lucky on that first one. You know, I booked the first audition that I ever did. That seemed crazy. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to take classes. I took voiceover classes here in LA. At the same time, I was auditioning on the pay-to-play sites just to practice and see if I could make some money. Mm-hmm. I recommend anybody who wants to get into voiceover, if you're brand new, if you're non-union, you know, there are a lot of negative things about the pay-to-play sites like voices.com and voice123, which we could set aside for a whole nother podcast. But if you're new, I would say hop on there, you know, try auditioning, try your hand at it, see if you can do it. So I was doing that, and then eventually, when I was ready, I got a professional demo produced, and then I mailed that out to an agency. And 8 years forward, you would not mail your demo out; you'd probably MP3 it or an email it to somebody. But that's what I did. I hard copied it, sent it all over LA, and I got a response, and my first agent, and I started auditioning. So that's how I got into it.
That's awesome, man. And you know, I want to touch on what you were saying as far as like, you know, there not being a clear path in music.
Yeah.
You and I both have backgrounds in music, you know, and at one point I was actually, I want to say up until like about 2 years or so ago, I was actually a ghostwriter and sort of producer with Virgin Records.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I've put out a couple albums, But yeah, trying to make it in music is very, very difficult.
Yeah, and the industry is as we know has changed forever.
Yeah.
And people, people don't necessarily buy albums anymore. They buy maybe singles, or they'll just rip them off YouTube or whatever. It's definitely a different ball game. So
yeah,
but
I was gonna say, you remember the LimeWire days?
Yes, I do. LimeWire, Morpheus, Napster. Oh man, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
That's cool. You're a musician. That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely need to get back into it because I've got one of my friends. He's also a YouTuber and he's a podcaster. Xander Scullion of XS Gaming Podcast. He has a band and he's like one of the best bass players I've ever heard. And I was listening to some of his stuff recently, and I'm like, man, this inspires me to want to get back into playing. But just the time, man, work and I never really thought that, YouTube and journalism and writing reviews for games would ever really like take off in the way that it has. Like, I went from like a year and a half ago as a guy who was like, okay, I'm interested in reviewing stuff to, and Sega and NIS America and Nintendo and Sony, like, hey, review this. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah. So what has been your favorite character to voice act for?
So I had a lot of fun with the role of Ryodari in Children of the Whales. That one's on Netflix. I'm not in a lot of the episodes, but that character is psychotic. He has pink hair. And I got to do this crazy voice. If anybody out there does know my work, I tend to play a lot of young teens or early 20s characters, very youthful. This was also a youthful character, but he was like demonic almost. So, and I got to sing this crazy song about eyeballs falling from the sky. And if you want to check out Children of the Whales on Netflix and go to I want to say it's episode 8 or 9, you might get a little creeped out by my character, but that guy was really fun.
We actually have one person in the chat watching. He said that anime was crazy.
It's violent.
That's awesome, man. So one of my other questions I wanted to ask you is, when you were selected for a role for a game, like, what is the process for you to, get into the mind of the character to be able to properly portray them?
So I would say the first thing that I do is I note the age range just to dial in the right sound of the voice, but then it really comes down to attitude. And I would say that this is true across all forms of voice acting. So, Yuma, for instance, in the beginning of the game, he's, from what I recall, he's pretty weak and he's been locked up. So he comes off as very, he's not very confident and or outspoken. So he's kind of soft-spoken and whatnot. But then as the game progresses, he builds his confidence and his attitude shifts. So that would be, once you've got the sort of sound, you just look for the places where you've got the attitude changes and you plan accordingly.
Yeah, because you definitely, you could definitely see like the progression of the character in the game from, exactly as you said, like in the beginning, he was very, from being locked up, he was very defeated.
Defeated.
And he just, gradually got better and better and better. And you could see the shift and the growth in the character. And, that's fantastic how you
thank you. I can't take all the credit, though. I had a great director, Christian. He directed me on that. And, he had a good, he saw the whole picture of the game. That's his job. But he was able to, kind of debrief me and say, hey, look, this is where you're at. He gave me the context. You've just come out of the prison or whatever it is. And of course that really helps. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. How was it? How would you say it was like working with Sega? Like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interface with the folks at Sega. There were a few people in the room in the on the other side of the glass,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, they were nice people, but I didn't have a lot of. We didn't communicate too much. So they basically, this is how it works. There's probably 3 folks from Sega in the room, and then the director and an engineer, and they're all on the other side of the glass. I'm in the booth, and I'll deliver a line, and then the folks at Sega will kind of talk amongst themselves and say yay or nay, or and pass that info on to Christian or the director, and then that info goes to me. So that's how it works.
Oh, so they're basically they'll tell you either to kick it up a notch or bring him back down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so kind of like if you're like say you're recording a song in a like a recording studio, like it's kind of like that setup in a way.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So when it comes to voicing Yuma and Shining Resonance Refrain, like how did it feel? And I'm really curious to know this, but how did it feel to land the role of the main character? And what challenges did you face and overcome?
It was exciting. Like I said, I may have said, that was my first lead role in a video game. So it was a big responsibility. I knew it was going to be a lot of lines, a lot of hours. I believe, I want to say it was about 4,500 lines. And we did 8 4-hour sessions. So super excited, but I knew I was going to have to pace myself because those 4-hour sessions can be an endurance test. But in the end of it, I knew it was worth it. And again, I'm really proud that how it came out and that I got the opportunity to play him.
Yeah. And, definitely looking forward to you in more roles. I could definitely see you in more lead character roles in video games and anime. Like, and as far as like, aside from voice acting, you do live acting as well, correct?
I do some live action too. You might have seen me in some national commercials. The Red's Apple Ale, where the guy connects with an apple.
Yeah,
I was in one in 2015 with what's her name from Seinfeld? Estelle Harris. She's in her little scooter and she chucks an apple at me. So that played all of 2015. I've done did a national for Walmart last year and some other commercials and then some small TV parts. But my main focus is voiceover. So. The on-camera stuff is far and few between.
Hey, but the biggest thing is you enjoy what you do, and that's the most. And I definitely try to tell people, like, as long as what you do you enjoy, it doesn't really become work. So
absolutely, I love what I do.
And here's the last question I have as far as like Shining Resonance and Yuma, but was it a challenge to become Yuma, and what are some of your fun moments voicing the character?
My natural voice is close to the age range of Yuma, and where I was at in my career when I took on that role, I was well prepared. So it wasn't too hard for me. Again, the hardest part is throughout a 4-hour session, you can get drained with all the different emotions because there really is a range of emotion in his character in the game. Fun parts. Okay, so there's a ton of sexual tension. A ton. It's kind of like pick your destiny as far as like who you have relations with in the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can end up with the female characters or the male characters, and or at least it's implied from what I gathered.
Yeah.
We would joke around about all sorts of stuff. Anytime that there was like a lot of tension between characters, we got a good laugh.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of that in the game, and I was like, there's so much of it. I was like, man, this is awesome. This is pure. Like, you could tell it's purely a Japanese game in that sense.
It's cool though, man. It's very progressive, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Are you a gamer? And if so, what is your favorite game?
I'm gonna sound so lame because I've only been playing games as of late. I would not classify myself necessarily as a gamer, but I have totally caught the Fortnite bug. I have a funny story. So I've been my friend John, actually, who goes to the gym that I go to. He encouraged me to play some games. He's a gamer, and so I get Fortnite, and it's the first time I've ever worn earbuds with the microphone and played as a co-op, and that blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the most fun thing ever. No wonder so many people do this.
Yeah.
So I was starting to annoy John because it was like every night I'd say, let's play Fortnite. Let's play Fortnite. He's like, dude, there are other games out there, man. So he's like, get Overwatch. Get Overwatch. Well,
are you playing Overwatch?
So everybody in our little group was like, come on, man, get Overwatch. We want to play a different game. It took me like a month of them telling me, but I finally bought it. And guess how many times I've played it? Once, because I'm still playing Fortnite. It will come though. I will play it. I swear.
Oh, Fortnite. I feel like that's really taken like the world by storm. Like that game, it's easy to get into. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's very creative with the building and everything.
Yeah, and they're doing updates all the time. Like the map has changed recently, so they really keep it interesting.
Yeah, I think they just added the vehicles too. I think.
Yeah, there's a golf cart you can ride around. It's silly, but it is fun.
Oh man, I'd definitely say you're a gamer. I mean, to me, anyone who, if you play a game, it doesn't matter if it's Fortnite or Street Fighter or RPG. It doesn't matter. Like if you play a game, you're a gamer.
Yeah, I will say I got really into the Uncharted series. And I'm a Tomb Raider fan. When I was a kid, PS1, Tomb Raider, that was my thing. I loved that game.
Which would you say is better? That's a tough one.
Uncharted or Tomb Raider or Fortnite, or which comparison?
Uncharted to Tomb Raider.
I just have such I don't know. I'm torn because Tomb Raider is what I grew up on, but Uncharted I played on PS4 and I was blown away by the graphics and the storyline.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna say Uncharted is slightly better, but I've got way more nostalgia and appreciation for Tomb Raider. I don't know.
No, I'm right there with you. I grew up with the original Tomb Raider. I think it was, I want to say it was a trilogy, but I think it was more than that. I think it got to a point where they kept releasing so many, I lost track of. Yeah,
they did a lot.
Yeah. So as far as like games, the most that I really keep up, like I'll review games. I like RPGs, but I'm a huge Street Fighter fan.
Oh, nice.
I grew up in the arcade.
Yeah.
I remember being like 4 years old. My brothers would have to get like the milk crate so I could get up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
But yeah, I definitely, man, gaming's fun. It's a good pastime. As far as like, I know a lot of friends of mine that are YouTubers, like they do gaming. That's their job, and I tell them I commend you, but there's no way I could do this full time.
Yeah.
Because I like being active. I like going out, going to the gym, and going hiking, and going to the beach. I can't just sit in front of a game all day.
Yeah, no. I kind of save my gaming towards the end of the day. It's like a winding down experience.
Yeah. So. I guess this is the last question I have for you. I understand you're busy. I don't want to hold you up or anything, and I know it's late where you are, but what are the last question I have is what are some projects that you have in the works currently, or that you're allowed to share?
So I guess the biggest one that's out right now that I can talk about is I took over as the lead voice of Nate Adams in Yokai Watch, which is on Disney XD. So,
really?
Yeah. So every Monday, I think it's 5:30 on Disney XD. They're releasing the new episodes of season 3. So there's that. Octopath Traveler just came out. I've got some other games lined up that are coming out in, I think, September and October that I can't talk about.
Ooh, could be Yakuza, it could be Shenmue.
I'm no comment. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's been released recently, but I don't know. There will be a lot more stuff though to come. That's for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. I guess we're at the part of the podcast where we do like the we do the Q&A.
Yeah.
So I've got so far we've got about 3 questions.
Okay, I hope they take it easy on me. They don't ask me too many specifics.
No. We got actually one of the people asking questions is Virtual Bros. They're a big Sega channel. They talk a lot about Virtua Fighter, Shenmue, and whatnot. So big shout out to them.
Awesome.
Their question is: have you ever worked with fan dubs or parodies, such as like Team 4 Stars, Dragon Ball Z Abridged series?
I have never done a fan dub. No, but it sounds fun.
I don't think I've ever watched the Dragon Ball Z Abridged. For me, Dragon Ball Z was huge when I was a kid, but then I don't know. As an adult, I'm like, I can't go back and watch too much of it. Let's see. Next question. He said, if you didn't already answer this, what is your favorite project? I think you did.
I said the favorite character. I didn't necessarily do the favorite project.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here's a special project, and actually, if it's not too much, I'll pull it off my wall. Actually, no. I did. So I'm really proud of this, and I don't know if many people know it, but I voiced this guy, Jibo.
Really?
Yes. So I don't know what the status is of this product, whether it's still being sold or whatnot, but it came out last year. I recorded for Jibo for 5 months in 2015, and it's the first social robot for the home. So that project was really special. Jibo made the cover of Time magazine, which was huge, and I was super proud of that. So yeah, that would be the biggest project and the most exciting project I've been on.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Congratulations again on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's see. The next question is, what is your dream project?
My dream project would be to get on an animated series that's long running. I'm a huge King of the Hill fan. God dang it, Bobby, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I love that show. And to be on something like that, that's that goes on for. I mean, obviously the money would be great, but it would be so much fun, and to have the camaraderie between a cast that you get to know, and the directors and engineers, and a lot of my jobs are kind of one-offs. You go in, you do your thing, you leave. You might see them again, but I think moving forward in life, if I got to do something really consistent for so many years, I'd love that.
That'd be awesome, especially like if it's something like, say you were to get on King of the Hill, like if it's something you grew up watching, you loved it, and then you get to be part of it. Like that's really got to be incredibly fulfilling.
Yeah, I wish that it would be great if the show came back. I think it's there might have been talks about something, maybe it coming back, but that show ended a long time ago. But it's hilarious. Yeah.
So, well, actually, one of the people in the chat, they wanted you to say propane and propane accessories since you brought up King of the Hill.
God dang it, propane and propane accessories. You know what's not cool, Bobby? Hell.
One of the next questions is, are you going to play Octopath Traveler?
I plan on it. I am pretty busy at the moment, and I'm heading out of town for some time on a vacation. But yes, I'm going to get a copy and I'm going to play it. It looks really cool. And I've read some reviews. People are raving about it.
That's one of the things, like, I know... Oh, sorry about the bus in the background.
Oh.
It's really insane how, like, my condo sits right here at this intersection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, one of the things about Octopath, like, I think that took Square Enix by surprise because it's almost sold out everywhere. I was able to get I got a review code for it, and I played and reviewed it. I picked up 2 collector's editions. Like, I bought one for my wife because the thing with having a wife that's a gamer is whatever I get, I gotta get 2 of.
Right. It's more expensive.
She's like, I want my own.
Yeah.
And so, I got this one right here that I wanted to give away, and I was surprised I was able to walk into Best Buy and just get one. Yeah. Then when I was thinking, it's like, oh, I could do 2 giveaways. And then the next thing I know, when I went to check again, they're like, we don't even have the basic copies in stock. So
yeah, like
Best Buy, Target, Walmart, all these stores out here. And there's not really a whole lot of choice of electronic retail out here in Hawaii. But yeah, it's sold out here. And then I'm hearing, even in Canada, it's sold out. I was like, wow.
Well, I'm glad it's successful. That's great.
Yeah. Cool. One of the other questions is, who is your favorite actor?
Oh man, favorite actor.
And who inspired you?
Who inspired me? Oh geez. I mean, as far as voice actors, I have a lot of respect for Greg Sipes. That guy has done so much in his career, and I would love to have his career as a voice actor. As far as on camera, I might have to get back to you on that. I gotta think about that one.
We can say that for another podcast. I guess, like, one of my questions I'd like to ask, how was it like working with like a legend like Dorothy Fawn?
So, interestingly enough, as a voice actor, you don't actually work with all these other folks in the games.
Really? You're
brought in individually, and all your sessions are pretty much one-on-one, unless it's like a show that has a cast record, all at once, which is not too common. So I don't think I've I didn't work with her in the studio.
Oh wow!
I'm hesitant to say I haven't met her. I think we've met, but yeah, I can't comment on that one.
All right, I guess that's the last question I have from the audience. They're definitely, they enjoyed having you on here, and
Thanks,
I definitely enjoy having you on. Like I said, I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you held up too long, but anything you wanna leave the audience with, or anything you want to say?
I just want to thank you as well as your listeners for tuning in. It was a pleasure and an honor. If you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, it's Griffin Burns VO, and then on Instagram and Facebook, it's me, Griffin Burns. So if you'd like to reach out, say hi, please do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again. This was really fun.
All right, man. Thank you again for coming on. And I'll leave the links for all of your social media links down in the description below for the people to, if they're watching this on YouTube, they'll be able to click the link and see it.
Yeah.
If they're listening on iTunes or Google Play Music, Stitcher, or whatever the outlets, they'll be able to just click on the podcast, click on the link, and it'll take them directly there.
Yeah. Great. Sounds good.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's such an honor, man. And congratulations on the lead role again for Shining Resonance Refrain. Yeah, man, this is amazing. It's such an honor.
I appreciate it. Have a good one, man. And again, thank you to all the listeners today.
Yeah, and for everyone listening, for everyone watching, if you want to catch this again, it'll be on replay on YouTube, just youtube.com/Mikhail Kasanova. You'll also be able to find it on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, as well as Spotify and TuneIn Radio at the Kasanova Podcast. That is Kasanova with a K. We have weekly episodes all the time, covering gaming and various topics. You can also find this on mikhailkasanova.com. That way, this is a central hub for all the content that we have. Again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Griffin, thank you for being on the show. And we will catch you on the next one.
Cool. Take care, guys. Bye.